It is June of 2025. Another summer morning dawns over Nevada City, California, and excitement fills the air. Here at the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Railroad Museum, some historic railroad equipment is being prepared for a trip over the Sierra Nevada mountains. NCNG No. 5, the Tahoe, will be making a special appearance at the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Carson City, Nevada, where it will be reunited with its sister engine, the Glenbrook. Both locomotives were built for the Carson and Tahoe Lumber and Fluming Company in 1875, and they turned 150 years old this year. This makes them the oldest operating narrow-gauge locomotives in America. In honor of this, both engines will operate together at the NSRM's Star Spangled Steam-Up over the coming 4th of July weekend. Number 5 will be loaded on a flatbed trailer and trucked over Donner Summit to Carson City. We'll watch the loading process and see Tahoe off as it heads out of town. First, number 5 is pushed out of the engine house, sans tender, by Westside Lumber Company Diesel number 1, nicknamed Stinky. The tender was shipped out during the prior week. Next, Stinky will tow the locomotive down the museum's grade to the loading site. Down in the woods, the train switchbacks off the main line and up the loading track. Tahoe reaches the loading site just as the semi-truck arrives. The driver backs his truck and trailer down the dirt driveway. Then the truck is adjusted so the trailer is aligned with the rails. The trailer is aligned with the track, and for a moment, the truck and engine number 5 are posed nose to nose. The driver then disconnects the truck from the trailer. It is now time to start assembling the temporary track and ramp so number 5 can get on the trailer. The museum volunteers use this tractor to lift the rail into place. After some adjustment, spreaders are placed between the rails so the temporary track stays engaged. Throughout the whole process, small adjustments will continue to be made to the track until everything is perfectly balanced and in line. With the track in position on the trailer, the tractor returns with the next pieces of rail, which will be used to build the ramp. These heavy wood beams will be used to support the ramp track. Once the next pieces of rail are lined up, rail joiners are installed, bolting the rails together.
Let's get some spreaders going in here.
As the track gets longer, spreaders continue to be added. The last 2 pieces of rail are moved over and bolted to the ramp. Two angled pieces of iron are bolted to the end of the ramp track. They create a smooth transition from the loading track into the ramp.
Is everybody ready?
Now that the temporary track is in place, sand is applied to the rails to provide traction as number 5 is moved up the ramp. Here is a look at the completed section of track. Now it is time to load number 5 onto the trailer. Diesel number 1 attempts to push the Tahoe onto the trailer. The original plan was to have Stinky push number 5 all the way onto the trailer, but after the first attempt, it was decided that the better course of action was to have the semi-truck tow Tahoe up the ramp. A chain with an adjustable length is attached to the coupler of the locomotive and connected to a tow hook on the front of the truck. The truck tugs Tahoe up, moves forward as the chain is shortened, and the process repeats until little by little, number 5 is pulled onto the flatbed. Tahoe is safely on the trailer. It is then chalked into place and tied down with chains. Having served its purpose, the temporary ramp track is disassembled so the truck can reconnect to the flatbed. We take another look at the lovely Mogul locomotive before the truck backs into the trailer. This is not the first time number 5 has taken a road trip. In the early 1940s, number 5 hit the highway for Hollywood when she was sold to Frank Lloyd Productions, and she returned to Nevada County by truck in 1985. In 2022, Tahoe traveled to the NSRM for the Great Western Steam Up. A video of this event can be found elsewhere on this channel. Here we see the semi-truck backing into the trailer. The truck is connected to the trailer, and Tahoe is ready for its road trip over the mountains. This locomotive is not the only piece of equipment the museum is sending to Carson City for the 4th of July. Nevada County narrow gauge Caboose number 1 was loaded onto a truck a few weeks prior to number 5. It will bring up the rear of Tahoe and Glenbrook's narrow gauge train consist. Here we see the car being pushed onto the flatbed. The volunteers succeeded in getting Stinky to move this car up the ramp. In a similar process to number 5, the caboose is chained down to the trailer. The caboose is safely tied down and ready for its journey. We'll see it off as the truck departs the museum. We'll end this video with scenes of number 5's departure from town. After leaving the museum, the truck will pause briefly at the former NCNG Nevada City Depot site, where the museum has an information kiosk and some historic equipment on display. Then the truck will head south on the freeway before turning around and heading back north to Donner Summit and onward to Carson City.